Hello everyone. A very warm welcome to the Hindu newspaper Analysis Townhall. Today is 29th September and this is the day for awareness on food loss and waste. And regarding this, we have one very important article where we will see the extent of food waste in India, its linkage with the climate impact and way forward. Okay, so the articles we are going to cover today are: first one, the stampede which happened in Karur, where thousands of people gathered to see the actor Vijay, and around 40 people have died. So we will see why the stampede happens, the reasons behind stampede, and the NDMA guidelines on the stampede. One question is very much expected on stampede because various events has happened in the recent past on the stampede. Second, Engel's pose in an AI-shaped world. Here we will see how AI can increase the inequality in society, and which is referred to as the Engel's pose, which was witnessed during the Industrial Revolution in Britain. Food wastage we are going to look at. Next, at UNGA, how India focused on the global south and what were the key points of the speech of the External Affairs Minister 𝐼𝐸𝐴. Then, weaponization of health by the US President Donald Trump. What is going to be the impact of weaponization of health? What it means basically using health or health tariff or the pharma tariff as a weapon. Okay, so let's start. Yes, so basically the crowd rushed to see the actor and the road was very congested. So many people fainted and died on the spot. So it raises question regarding the organization of such incidents and such events. Many events has happened in the recent past. This one, the latest one. Then Haridwar, it happened in the Mansa Devi temple. Then Mahakumbh stampede happened. RCB victory parades stampede happened. So it becomes a very hot topic for the mains exam. So a question can come on this theme. Okay. So first of all, what is stampede? If a question comes on stampede, we have to briefly explain or briefly define what is stampede. Stampede is basically the impulsive mass movement of the crowd, which leads to disruption of orderly movement. Earlier there was orderly movement, but due to the impulsive mass movement, it leads to the disruption. It can cause injuries and fatalities. This is the very basic definition. We should start with this. Then these are the examples. Then briefly the impacts of stampede. First of all, physical injuries like bruises, fractures, fatalities. Psychological trauma like anxiety, depression, and also the post-event stress disorder. Okay, economic consequences are there also: lawsuits, medical cost, tourism decline. For example, if a stampede happens, usually it doesn't happen with the religious places in India, but if a stampede happens, for example, at a RCB victory parade or say Karur stampede, so it can demotivate people to go to such places. If a stampede is happening at one particular place, like one time or two times, then people will stop going to such places. So it can lead to decline in the tourism, and also it leads to the image distortion. Image is distorted for that place like forever. Also social implications in loss of trust, increased scrutiny, hesitancy to participate. Basically at the social level, people will be hesitant to go to such crowded place, right? So these are the various impacts of the stampede. Now, why the stampede happens? Here we are not going to limit ourselves to this event only. We are going to cover the exhaustive causes behind stampedes in India. First of all, it can happen because of the structural causes also. Like, first of all, the construction is unauthorized and improper. Okay. Difficult terrain or something is built on the top of hills, or the narrow streets with very few entry exits, which we can see at various religious places also. If the streets are narrow and the construction is authorized, basically they are not following the building rules. If building rules are not followed, there will not be proper entry or exits. Okay, so in case of any rumor or any chaos, likelihood of the deaths is high. Okay. Second, fire and electricity causes. First of all, there are no building and fire code following in India. There are violations in almost every building. Okay, illegal electric connections, faulty electric equipments, many incidents, even in Delhi, we have witnessed in summer months because of the electricity issue, because of the shorting of the wire. So faulty electric equipments are used. There are absence of emergency exits. Emergency exits होते ही नहीं हैं. Sometimes there is 3-floor building with very narrow staircase to go to that place, and there's only one entry and one exit. So in case of any miss happening, the likelihood of people going out is very less. So it leads to more deaths. Non-availability of fire extinguisher, definitely not following the fire code violations. Extinguishers are not present. Crowd behavior. Unruly and unresponsible crowd behavior. Sometimes people spread rumors. In the past, there was one event where people went on to touch the feet of a god man. And in that incident also, many people died. So unruly crowd behavior is one of the reason. Then people, if there's some rumor, then people forced to the entry or exit gate. Okay, even if there is no rumor, this is the general habit of the people in India to rush to the closing gate or the entry gate at the time before the closure of the event. Even in say buses or trains, you see before the station arrives, people start gathering at the gate. So just one small unruly behavior from one person can lead to big accidents. Panic, euphoria, mass hysteria, and loss of control. It happens usually during the big events. Security issue also on the part of supply side from where the security is to be ensured. First of all, under deployment of security staff. There's no adequate rehearsals in case a fire breaks out or in case a stampede breaks out. Then what is the course of action for the security staff? No proper rehearsal is there. No scientific planning is there. Like if say 10,000 people are going to arrive at a particular event, so how many entry gates should be there, how many exit gates should be there, what are the various provisions for various services like water or the temperature. So all these things are not scientifically planned. Lack of CCTV surveillance, so that post event we can get to know why this event happened. Then also the coordination between agency like police, fire service, PWD, etc. This is a evergreen issue in Indian administration. Then NDMA guidelines for the stampede. First of all, before an event happens, there should be basic information about the event, like what kind of event it is, whether it's a school event, sports event, political event, or religious event. Accordingly, the crowd varies. Based on the event, the crowd expected is what age, gender, region. Why? Because if, for example, if many old people are coming or children are coming, so accordingly provisions have to be made for their security, right? And why they have come, whether it's social event, political event, religious event. Now the main thing comes is the crowd management, apart from the venue and other stakeholders. Capacity planning. As we discussed, there should be capacity planning as in for a particular event, how many people are coming, right? What is the space available? How many security staff is going to be there? Okay, so there should be planning of the capacity of the particular event place. Then the risk assessment should be there. What are the kinds of risks which can erupt? For example, if electricity goes out, what you are going to do? If there is some rumor, how you're going to contain it? Then improved preparedness planning. Accordingly, this is the extension of this only. Incidents response. What you will do, what the security staff will do in case if there is some rumor or there is some stampede breaks out or say fire breaks out, what the incidents will be, what the response will be of the security staff. It should be very clearly mentioned. Okay, then capacity building, which comes at the last. Okay, in this process there should be coordination between the residents who are living in that area, NGOs, so that in case of an event breaks out, the containment can be done. So all this NDMA guidelines as it is, you can make the chart in your exam, also just explaining the few points in the crowd management area. So these are the guidelines for the stampede, and this is enough for the stampede issue. Yes, very interesting article. An angel's pose in an AI shaped world. Nobel laureate Geoffrey Hinton, what he said? He basically said that AI will make a few people rich and rest of us poorer. This is called as Engel's pose. What is Engel's pose? First of all, it is an economic phenomena where industrial or technological output increases significantly. Industrial output increase हुआ, but the living standard and wages of the majority of the population stagnates or decline. Okay, so development हुआ in terms of say industrial output. It first was observed in the Industrial Revolution in Britain. Okay, industrial output increased, but the living standard and the wages of the majority of the population, which was the worker population, it stagnated or declined. So the writer says the same Engel's pose can happen because of the AI also. How AI can do this? This we will see. Okay. Modern AI Engel's pose. How it can happen? First of all, stagnant wages despite productivity gains. What AI does? AI tools basically help businesses to increase their productivity. Like AI powered tools are boosting the productivity in call centers by 30 to 50%. Automated calls in the call centers, like the productivity is increased, but the workers' wages are definitely not increasing proportionally. So what is happening? The outcome or the output for the owner or say the industrialist, the few rich, is increasing, but the majority of population who belongs to the worker class, their wages are not rising proportionally. Now what the companies do? Companies basically they benefit from cost saving and faster service, while the workers may face increased workload without a corresponding pay increase. Okay. Rising cost of complements. Yes, what is this? Now to leverage the AI, what the companies will do? They will invest in technology, they will invest in skills, they'll invest in cloud computing, data access, cyber security. Now on this part, so what the workers will have to do? Workers ke liye, first of all, company will less money will be invested. Why? Because companies now investing in this. Second, workers have to keep themselves updated. Okay, with the coding boot camps, new certifications, so that they are relevant. Okay, even without an increase in the wage. So this is going to be the impact of the complements on the workers. Then unequal distribution of gains. PwC का एक estimate है कि AI could add 15.7 trillion to the global GDP by 2030. But the benefits are expected to be concentrated in a few countries. Countries like US and China. This is what the writer says. And not only these two countries, but the few handful of firms which control the foundational AI models. Okay. According to IMF study also, 40% of the jobs worldwide are exposed to the AI. Okay. Job displacement. This is visible. TCS shedding of 12,000 employees so that they can make a pivot towards AI. So this is the direct what we can see from the events happening around us. This is the modern AI Engel's pose. How the AI can create a new Engel's pose where the benefits will be appropriated by the few rich and the majority of the worker population will remain poor or their wages will become stagnant. This is Engel's pose. So what should be done? The writer basically says we should not overstate the negative impacts of AI. If we regulate it properly, we can minimize the negative impacts of the AI. Okay. And also the modern societies, like the society which we live in today, it cannot be compared to the society of the industrial revolution phase. Why? Because during that time, there were no social safety nets. But in present modern societies, there are stronger social safety nets, welfare system, which were not present that time. Okay, so AI can help us in reducing the cost in healthcare, education sectors. So there are positive sides also. So what should be done is skill transition program. Like Singapore has run a skill future. Okay, which provides credits for continuous education and reskilling. So as the technology is evolving, focus should be shifted towards giving the required skills to the manpower. Redistribution of AI rents. अब AI है, अब we have to redistribute. For example, income tax है, rich to poor. How? 12 लाख रुपए तक no tax. Rich paying tax. Are now collecting tax from the rich so that it can be distributed for the welfare of the people. Similarly, there can be taxes called as robot taxes for the AI, the companies which are using more AIs, or the universal basic income for the people or the citizens of the country, so that minimum welfare can be ensured. Now, treating AI infrastructure as a public good, most of the companies like Grok is there, ChatGPT is there, Gemini is there, they are private companies. Okay, and private companies work on the motive of profit, but they can be making these AI infrastructures public good, like two initiatives, K2 Think.ai and Apparatus. These are of first is of UAE and second is of Switzerland. So basically, these are the public AIs and they are not private. So we can do this also. So very beautiful article, very insightful points. We can use these points as it is directly any question or any essay that comes on AI. Okay, next article. Yes, September 29, International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste. The writers say this is a silent crisis because the 1/3 of all the food which is produced in the world is either lost or wasted. And India is not immune to this. Okay. So, according to a study in 2022 by NABARD, very high losses are there in the agriculture in India, the food, the post-harvest losses, which accounts for approximately 1.5 lakh crore rupees. Yes, 1.5 lakh crore rupees of post-harvest losses, which accounts for 3.7% of agriculture GDP of India. Okay, and it is maximum in the fruits and vegetables. Why? Because they are perishables. Perishables as in if they do not get the cold storage, they will perish. So 10 to 15% of the fruits and vegetables, they are lost. They are wasted every year. In paddy also it's 4.8%, wheat also 4.2%. So this is the one thing. Our food is gone. Our nutrition is gone. But this is not the only thing. Along with this, the water is gone. The water which is like used in the production of the fruits, vegetables and rice. Energy is gone. The energy which was used in that process. Labor is also gone. So it has multi-dimensional impacts: food, water, energy and labor. Okay, and also this production of the paddy or wheat, say any fruit and vegetable, it amounts to millions of tons of food lost every year, leading to release of CO2 in the atmosphere. How much? A study by FAO and NIFTEM is National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management, and also the Green Climate Fund. According to them, the greenhouse gas emission is approximately 10 million tons CO2 is released. Like if we consider the modest percentage loss in cereals, खाली cereals का अगर loss देखें हम तो उसकी वजह से 10 million ton release होता है. But overall impact has been 33 million ton of CO2 equivalent has been released in emission every year. So the impact is on food. Food is lost, water is lost, energy is lost, labor is lost. At the same time, emission is gained. So this is the impact of the food waste. It's not only the waste of the food, but also the loss of all these things. Okay, India has taken various steps also. One of these is SDG indicator 12.3.1. इसमें इंडिया ने मेजरमेंट में इसको इंक्लूड किया है, ग्लोबल फूड लॉस एंड वेस्ट को, सो दैट इसकी मेजरमेंट टाइमली की जा सके. सो व्हाट शुड बी डन on two aspects? First of all, infrastructure and technology angle, and second is the policy angle. Infrastructure and technology के angle पे क्या करेंगे? First of all, cold chain, that is the first thing we require. Strengthening cold chains for perishables through programs like, already the program is there, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. Second, technology like solar power cold storage and moisture proof silos, because moisture is one of the major reason behind the wastage of food or the spoilage of food. Also using the digital tools such as Internet of Things sensors and AI for better forecasting and management of storage and transport. Okay, we can use AI in the management of storage and transport so that food wastage can be minimized. Second, on the policy level, government needs to integrate food loss reduction to the climate strategies. As we have seen, the food loss, how it can have impact on the climate. Also, the businesses should adopt the circular economy model, where whatever is being waste is reused. Okay, so redirecting the surplus food to food banks and then converting the waste into compost. अब surplus food को food bank में होना चाहिए, जो storage हो proper cold, और जो waste है उसको compost बनाना चाहिए. Then also civil society, academy, and consumer to play a role in research and awareness of the food. So this is a very good article showing how food is linked to all these things and the climate. Yes, very briefly we will see what are the various things in the speech of S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister at the United Nations General Assembly meeting. Basically, the speech revolved around key issues only. Like first one, what it can be there, the trade tariff, right? Farmers. Okay. Also, this H1B visa issue is there. India. अब US you can see is completely going against India, either to stop the Russia-Ukraine war or to claim the credit of India-Pakistan war or to get a good trade deal, so that they are indirectly pressurizing India. Okay, so what were the various things? The multilateral meetings and the bilateral meetings which were done by the ex Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, were majorly focused on the global south. Now India is trying to align the global south countries with its agenda at the United Nations. The majority of the meetings, for example, like the BRICS meeting was there, India 𝐶LAC meeting. 𝐶LAC is basically around 30 countries of the South American and Caribbean countries are there. Okay, FIPIC country, these are Pacific Island countries, L69, C10. So all these multilateral meetings happen. 30 bilateral meetings also happen. And India's strong criticism of the Israel's war on Gaza. This is a change in stance. India has not taken such a strong stance in the past, but now it is changing, maybe trying to align with the interest of the West Asia. Okay, and moving away from a little away from the United States and its allies. Okay, then talked about the visa and immigration issue and pharmaceutical issue. One interesting thing was there was no Quad meeting, no Quad foreign minister meeting, and there was no timeline was being set when they are going to meet. So basically, Quad is going in the background now. India is also not very much interested. Okay, there was 80 minutes meeting of Mr. Trump with the Pakistan. This is not like long lasting. We'll very soon in next 1 to 3 years we'll see the Mr. Trump speaking bad about Pakistan. Okay, so the major thing was India criticized the attacks of Israel in the Gaza. Okay, so India shift of policy for the West Asia. Also, there were talks regarding the reforms in the United Nations Security Council, which India had long asked for. India has long tried to convince various countries that they should be reformed in the UNSC because they no longer represent the global economy. It's the economy of the World War II, post World War II era. So there should be the reforms. And last article, weaponizing health. Context we all are aware of, 100% tariff. How it is going to impact India or say other countries in Europe or US. Okay, in US, basically 10% of the household medical care expenditure hai, it is on the prescription drugs. Okay, so impact is going to be on the expenses of the people if things are getting expensive. Second, there is going to be the impact on the health sector, on the health insurance sector. How? If the drug prices are increasing, so the health insurance cost will also increase for the companies. So therefore, they will increase the premium. According to Ernst & Young study, 25% tariff on the patented drug would raise the annual drug cost in the US by $51 billion. So this is a big amount. And the majority of the European Union countries like UK, Switzerland, and also the Singapore, they are hubs for the pharma manufacturing, and they are now coming under the 100% tariff burden. So these countries are also going to get impacted. India केस में क्या है? Basically US में जो 90% जो drugs जो prescribe की जाती हैं वो generic हैं, and India plays a major role in this. But the cost is only 13%. 90% मेडिसिन का 13% स्पेंडिंग है, बाकी 10% जो मेडिसिन है उनके ऊपर 87% स्पेंडिंग है, विच विल कम अंडर द 100% टैरिफ. ओके, इंडिया एक्सपोर्ट्स $10.5 billion of pharmaceutical generic pharmaceutical products to the US, and if this tariff of 100% extends to the generic medicine in future, this is going to be a major blow to the Indian pharmaceutical sector. Also, the API is active pharmaceutical ingredients which are used in the manufacturing of the medicines. India and China are the front runners in this API manufacturing. So how it is going to impact the API is also not clear. Okay, this brand, this company, big company, their pharma, it is warned that tariff would raise cost for the patients without addressing structural supply chain issues. Okay, it will increase the retail drug cost also. So we'll see in the future how this Trump era is going to evolve or how it's going to end. Okay, so these are the articles for the today. I'm attaching these notes in the comment box. If you have any query, you can ask in the comment box. And I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, good luck, goodbye. Thank you.